what really excites me because he was on the bench for a lot of last year, and Sapa is such an insane player. Of course, GELIDA do really have their work cut out for them in Fury, a team that is actually, believe it or not, the back-to-back champions of this region. Fury came first in the last chance qualifier for Asia League in Stage 1 and Stage 2 last year, beating out Bleed both times. And now they really have no choice but to come first now, with Asia only getting the single major slot.
I mean, I think you can look at it either way, right? It's either that Fury have no choice but to come first, but also that Bleed can't really be dropping the ball if they get to that grand final at the end there, right? We saw them do that, I think it was twice at the end of Stage 1, but Stage 1 and Stage 2, but they got fortunate enough that they accumulated enough points for the Six Invitational, and then they were both able to meet each other there as well. So I think, yeah, like we've been prefacing, it's very top heavy this league, and the competition for that one spot will be pretty big, but I don't know. I've got my eyes set on Fury. I feel like they should be pretty strong contenders for it.
I would really love to see it. I've got a soft spot for Fury, and they are kind of the small fish in a big pond. If you compare them to Bleed, who has a far larger support from their organization, not to mention Julio, a world champion, coaching them as well. We've flown through the bans already, Mandy, but I think this is one of the first times I've ever actually seen Grim taken out in the ban phase.
Yeah, Grim has suddenly become very popular in the last couple months, supposedly with the changes that have come through to him, and don't know why, but maybe these teams have decided that he warrants a ban, maybe something to do with it's a comfort pick or something to do with the way they don't like the zoning utility, but whatever it might be, for some reason they've decided to take Grim out, and what that does mean is that all the other tools that are left for the attack have been left in. All of your hard breach, all of your anti-wall denial, things should be getting opened, especially stuff like your hatches. Although Two-Brow isn't, and it is being played at the moment, so regardless of that, it should still be a pretty challenging map to attack.
Yeah, we haven't seen a huge amount of impactful Two-Brow compared to when he initially was introduced because of the various nerfs that have come through. He does actually have the ACOG, the magnified scope now on that DMR, and it was already bloody good with the 1.5. Now it's even better. But yeah, the way that the interaction with the insulation, I forget the technical term that they use, but you know, Two-Brow, it used to be that as soon as the ice dissipates, the electrification comes back, and now they've made it so there's a few seconds where the electrification will not come back, and so any hard breach can continue to fuse and detonate. And that does make Two-Brow a little bit less powerful, but still in conjunction with the Kaid and the Goyo and the Smoke, all of these time sync operators, I would not be surprised if GELIDA do steal away a lot of that time from Fury.
We have got Dark on the Deimos as well on the side of the attack for Fury, and it makes me a little worried for any stray roamers out on the ground floor of the map, but it seems like all 5 of the defenders are falling back towards the site for GELIDA. I9 now making some vertical onto the top of the freezer stairs, flushing out any players left inside of Z hallway, and, well, easy as he does it, that's the roam clear done for Fury, and all of GELIDA are back on the bomb site.
Mark is loitering here on the rear stairs, looking to hopefully take down any drones that come through, anyone that overpicks, but I wouldn't be surprised if Fury are very cautious here, very careful. Oh, here comes Sapa. He's in Sapa's spot, but he's being met with a shield. He does a huge amount of damage onto Lycolis. Oh, but I9 comes in to support. Lycolis somehow manages to stay alive, even on 1 HP, and take down Mr. Punch for his troubles. That was a massive shot from Sapa there, but Lycolis still managed to survive and deal damage.
Man advantage now for Fury, even though Lycolis has been taken down pretty low, all he needs to do is spearhead this push here, and there's an opportunity now for Fury to try and play the trade game as they go in for the execute. 1 minute and 20 left to go, so they've still got plenty of time to have a think about what they want to do next as well. It does look like they're having a look at maybe getting this hatch open as well, although I don't know if they have the secondary utility to do it. Okay, they do on the Deimos, which is good. Tracking onto Two-Brow as well, so just double checking where the freeze charges have come in through the other side, and that will in fact be not really tricked, but denied for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't think that I think the installation that I was talking about before will allow this hard breach charge to detonate once the freeze effect does go away. It should be just about now, I believe. Lycolis, as I said before, very low HP, and that means that a single bullet, a single whiff of gas, or a tiny bit of Goyo's fire will take him down instantly, which does make him very much a vulnerable target. 30 seconds left on the clock, and Mark is reinforcing off elbow and detonating a Vulcan canister. This is a really awkward position now for Fury. Time ticking away, and GELIDA are using every PC util they've got. Out goes the Zoto canister to slow down the position, but DCH has been taken out. Mark finally steps up for 2 massive kills, bringing numbers advantage back into GELIDA's favor, and Mark finds the final one as well. A beautiful close to the round despite the numbers deficit. GELIDA have no fear.
Yeah, really calm and composed there in the last couple seconds of the round. They realized that Fury went for the switch to go for a back push, realizing they couldn't get the freezer hatch open. And then by then, that reinforcement had already gone down on the elbow rotation. Really shut them out there. At that point, they had to funnel in through one entry point that they had going into the bomb site, and they played the crossfires really well. Well played from GELIDA, but it is the basement bomb site, and we do expect the defense to be winning those ones out. I think Jake and Gus will be the first ones to say that this is the bomb site that defense gets properly tested.
I think that's their favorite thing to say on a
That is
cast.
their favourite.
Dorms is really where Oregon gets determined. Can you win your Dorms defense? Can you win your Dorms attack? Yeah, this tends to be where the brawl comes out, which is fun. I've seen a lot of those 1v1s going around as well. You know that massive trend? You know, Jinxie and all the streamers loving those 1v1s. It's always on this bomb site as well.
Yeah, I mean,
You actually won your 1v1, right?
I was gonna say, we've played 1v1s on this bomb site, and it took me many rounds, but I won. Not against you, but I won.
Well, I lost mine, so maybe I think by default that means you are the better player.
Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're watching these 10 players play this bomb site instead this time around. It does look like they are playing set aggressive rotation hole going into closet with the shotgun as well. So for Fury, they've got one point of contact there early on to contest. Nevertheless, it does seem like they are posturing up for this double window push instead.
Yeah, quite like the operator lineup we're seeing out of Fury as well. A lot of creativity. Gridlock doesn't see a lot of play. Amaru, obviously a pocket pick operator. Not to mention like Colas here on the Deimos, which we've now seen 2 rounds in a row. Fury are getting really creative with their operator lineups. We saw it, of course, in the first round with Blitz as well. What are they cooking? They're rotating almost all of their players over to this big window.
I don't mind this yet for Fury. I don't think they've quite telegraphed what push they're going for. It seems like they are looking to at least get some control over on the small tower side of the map. Nomad as well is going to help zone out some of those roamers from going for the retake when they eventually go in for that execute in through the double window. Line up for Dark on the Gridlock does make me think that they are going to commit to this take at some point. Looks like a bit of a tussle about to go down in Z as DCH on the other side of that hatch could do some damage to the players in dining.
You know what I reckon it is? I reckon the strat here is to try and kill this player in kids' dorms. Isolate them using the Deimos, get those wall hacks, get those pings, and then get a player down below with the buck to play the vert and flush them into the player on the double window. But an early pick here from Mr. Punch. Dark gets punished by overextending here. His Gridlock's track stingers don't prevent that from working out. Now DCH is in a world of hurt, low HP, but still survives. Finally the kill goes down, and surely the intention is for the Amaru to go up the hatch, but that ain't gonna happen, because Mr. Punch is continuing to be a demon downstairs. He's found 3. Sapper as well to support, and this Deimos has gone down, perfectly baited by Mr. Punch. BG man in a 1v4. Look, it was a lovely idea from Fury, but execution was far from there. And that's primarily due to GELIDA, their proactivity. Oh, what a shot! Mr. Punch finally put to rest, but a 1v3 is a nigh unwinnable task here for BG man.
I'd have to agree with your comment as well. It's a good idea, but I think they jumped the gun on their idea, right? When you want to push with the Deimos and go with your team and try and isolate a loose roamer, you can't really do that when the roamers aren't exactly loose, right? We have 2 players in the ground floor playing off each other, playing crossfires, when they're just simply walking in, they're not being cautious about the 2 remaining roamers on their floor while they're trying to play this fancy vertical against DCH on the other side. It is overthinking it a little bit, and I think ultimately jumping the gun on what is a novel idea, but not that well executed.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for cool ideas like that, man. Even if
Me too.
they don't work out, I love to see
I like
it.
it
So
too.
And, you know, I love to talk about operator cosmetics, and so I'm going to bring up the Fury background card. Looks awesome. That's also the brand new Fnatic one in the top left, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. The new Tier 1 skins came out today. Very cool.
Is the Fnatic background also the anime meta?
They are all anime meta.
Ah, I see.
Like, no.
Yeah. Alright.
The only, I think the only one that's not anime meta is the Fear X one, and that's the cat meta, which is they're just like, they're playing 2025 meta right now.
No,
they're ahead of the game.
I thought Fear X did both. I thought they did the cat girl meta, like the anime cat. I thought that's like playing both at the same time, you know.
That
anyway,
is 400 IQ.
That is 400 IQ. Yeah, that's cool. I feel like Elevate has put like a legacy on the anime meta that can never be broken now. But you know what?
Yeah.
That is okay. I can get behind that. That's cool. They rocking the orange together as a team.
Yeah, no, I do like that. It is funny though because GELIDA's logo is blue, but they're on the orange team right now, and Fury's logo is orange, but they're on the blue. That's really triggering something deep inside of me.
It's not right. It's just wrong. So it goes Fury on another attack attempt. GELIDA winning 2 out in a row now, and it is going to force them to go and try a tertiary bomb site this time around. Meeting and Kitchen seems to be the one that they've gone for, as Dining's gone a bit out of fashion these days. DCH looking for a spawn peek out of T3, but isn't able to find anyone.
It's always hard to flush people out of this T3 position. But you do have to be pretty ambitious on your defense when you force some of these tertiary sites like Meeting we're seeing now. And Fury, to their credit, have been really prompt. So I don't think they've wasted much time in these rounds. They've found the opening pick in the first round, and of course things didn't work out so well for them with Mr. Punch's roam in the second. But I want to credit, they seem to always have a clear idea of their intention, even if sometimes they get a little bit caught off guard in the execution. Now here comes Critche, he's on for an entry. Oh, quick round of the corner, and a beautiful shot there onto IDFC. Looking for a second one now. Critche is such a dangerous player, and Mark knows it, and so he will fall back, but not without at least trying to take something back. Critche's found another with the SMG-12. He is on a tear, and Fury have 2 players in the advantage. Sapper looking for something in return, but he is eventually forced on back again. Mark goes down, so Fury are farming. GELIDA need to start making some plays now. 3 players in deficit.
That was really good stuff there from Critche on the entry. Really caught GELIDA off guard in the top floor, finding the entries on the back of the Dokkaebi call as well. It is forcing now the remaining 2 players of GELIDA to try and make a play with the numbers deficits. The only way they can possibly come back into this round. DCH going for a retake back up the top of the stairs. Never mind, he pulls off that as well. Yeah, GELIDA very much in a bit of a pickle now. 5 versus 2 is a tough one to come back from.
DCH was spotted as well on the hack camera. Sapper, his position revealed by the logic bomb. I don't think anyone is in position, but here we go. DCH finds one. The trade, though, makes this nigh impossible for poor Sapper. Nice impact, but I don't think like Hollis is going to mind too much. These crossfires are pretty challenging now to try and deal with, and Sapper gets a little bit stuck. Oh, nice shot in the BG, man. Vertical angle he is hyper aware of. Not just the flashes caught. Yeah, we'll farm the stats. Yeah, alright. See what he can do. There's a player above. I mean, like, there's just no way that he wins this. Surely, like, 3 players all separated. It's a valiant effort, though. You got to give him some credit. He's going to try. He's going to dance around. But Fury aren't silly. They won't overcommit. I personally just want Critche to confirm the 3K, but it looks like Sapper's not even going to try and hit that diffuser. He will just sail on out. And now it is physically impossible to win the round for Sapper. So at least try and farm some KD. Never mind. Critche's got it. He gets the 3K after all. And finally, Fury are on the scoreboard.
Really solid round there for Fury. I think, like you pointed out early, everything that Fury does is with conviction and with intention. Like, yes, it might not have worked for the previous 2 rounds, but this time around, they went in for it. They backed themselves. Critche lands some great shots on the entry, who, by the way, had a really great performance at the last 6 Invitational, and it wins them out of the round in the end. Very much in the early game, I felt like the round was done and dusted.
Yeah. Kind of in the story for 2 rounds in a row, right? Because Fury essentially lost the round quite early on that Dawn's attack, despite having that nice idea. Speaking of operators, like, we're still seeing more nice ideas. Like, just teased out now, Deimos, Monty. Also, shout out to the GELIDA team house. This is the same one that they used to play in when they were with Elevate, so I assume it's owned by some other company and they're like renting it out. But yeah, very cool. The terrifying clown returns.
Yeah, I was saying scary clown house. I remember The first time that I saw that, I actually like jumped in the background. I was like, oh god. That's
Yeah,
fun.
I don't
That's a
know.
nostalgia one.
I don't know how you could play, like, if your monitor goes black and you just see the reflection of the clown behind you in the mirror, I would absolutely shit myself.
Oh, that's funny. Here we go, GELIDA. So having lost their tertiary bomb site, are now able to go back down to the basement, has been unlocked for them. Once again, last time around, I feel like it was pretty decisive for Fury, not able to land the execute that they needed to, even with the numbers advantage as they went into it. So I'm not expecting too much different, to be honest, from GELIDA. Yes, they are looking for a bit of a roam now. And yes, the Deimos is on board, so if they find an opportunity to capitalize on one of these stray roamers, that could lead into a pretty successful execute, but it looks like they're falling off pretty quick.
Richard, I'd be worried about if I'm a roamer. Amazing how some people can be so proficient with high recoil guns like that SMG-12. Now, who's Dark just scanned? I thought I saw for a second he scanned someone, but can't quite see now. There is quite a bit of a roam going on here. Of course, we've gone back down to the basement. And so it's a very extended roam from GELIDA, no longer just relying on Sapper on the freezer stairs at Sapper spot. And as a result, Fury have to clear. But when you've got Deimos and Dokkaebi and the Monty to boot, roam clearing is actually not always as challenging. But hang on a sec. IDFC's found the opening kill, and Fury are not looking so hot on this roam clear after all.
Yeah, they're really holding on to the roam, aren't they, GELIDA? They're really showing a lot of tenacity here in the ground floor as the roam clear comes through. Critchay has been pretty brave on the top floor in the entry so far, but Dark going down does scare them away a little bit. Some of the flashbangs to go through. Oh, and the Monty to follow, taken down by the Oryx, but not out. Trades come through as well from Critchay himself. IDFC will go down. There's still a player on the back stairs, just taking a bit of damage, but Mark is able to get away with his life.
There you go, kill finally confirmed. That does mean we're at even numbers as well. Critchay can hack cameras, open up his hatch as well. Wow, such a different interpretation of this defense, isn't it, Mandy? Like, GELIDA went from having full like site presence and Tubarão and Kayi to going for such an ambitious roam. It's hard to say at this point who's actually won that roam game.
It is kind of tough to say. I would agree with you. I feel like losing the Monty going into the execute is a pretty big boon, I think, for the attack at the moment. I felt like Glycolis was quite impactful on it in the previous attack attempt that they did here. Not just that, but in general, even though you have to make this translation work into the basement, it can be quite tough with only 3 people to do so. Mark's well in a very good position to try and contest this hatch drop once it comes through. The flashbangs will initiate the execute, but where's the entry to follow?
Need to have an ambitious entry, but Mark is ready to receive. I9 goes down, but who else but Critchay to get a response for Fury. Sapper's in a solid spot, but if he is checked, he will be susceptible to Pika's advantage. And I can hear Critchay ready for it. Mr. Punch finds one. Critchay trying to find something, but there's nothing for it. GELIDA again hold firm on the basement.
Yeah, composed defense once again from GELIDA. I really liked the idea of going for the extended roam. I was a bit nervous, to be honest, to see that extended roam going up against the Deimos and the Dokkaebi combo, but I think they played that really well, played close with each other. Even though Deimos is activated and someone is getting pinged, if you're not a stray roamer, if you're not super isolated, I think playing off the back with your team and allowing the trades to ensue through the rounds was a good way for GELIDA to have dealt with that. And then came down to the execute. Just played it composed, waited for the time to tick away. Fury failing to land another execute in the basement. But what can we expect? It is still the basement.
Searching for electronics.
Yeah, very true. Can't celebrate too much when you win a basement defense. That said, 3-1 is not bad. There is a solid chance Fury could tie the scoreline from here on out, but I don't know. I think GELIDA has got to be pretty happy with where they're at the moment, especially considering, and like we had talked about in the pre-show, Fury have bested GELIDA in every single time they played each other last year. Well, I should specifically say Fury bested NoCap R6, which is the GELIDA roster. The roster currently playing for GELIDA with these 5 players, more or less. And so, yeah, any round, any advantage that GELIDA can get, that's pretty impressive. Especially with how tight the league is promised to be with Fury, Bleed, Elevate, GELIDA, potentially some of the other teams as well, being real top contenders.
All right, here we go. Bit of a one-on-one going on down in the basement. It does seem like Critchay's got some idea that Mr. Punch is on the other side. Now, it's making me thinking, maybe Critchay is trying to bait Mr. Punch out here, right? Use some of the activations, see if he goes for a run out. But Mr. Punch, being a bit more cautious about that, is going to go for the spray down through the wall into E, but not able to connect the shots. Critchay as well, thinking the better of it, not taking that 1v1, and is going to reconsolidate with his team instead.
A bomb has been located.
Here we go. So, who's been tracked? Mr. Punch seems to have been tracked by the Deimos at the moment. I believe we're seeing an 100% pick rate from Fury on Deimos, Mandy. Isn't that? That's quite something. Not a lot of teams have picked it up, and usually it is for like a pocket strat, if you will. But no, Fury are indeed going for this exact same attack again, the vertical push with the Deimos. And I9 is just looking for this player in dorms. Oh, DCH is dead to rights. Critchay takes him down. Great usage of the SMG-12. Great usage of the logic bomb, in fact, to get that audio call. And of course, with DCH going down as well, and well, now Mr. Punch, it is devastating for GELIDA. Fury in a 5 versus 2. They just need to regroup and form up and execute.
Jumping in now, the last player left is Sapper in the 1 versus 3, and BG Man can take him down fairly easily. Fury managing to land yet another attack going up against GELIDA in very clean fashion. This time around, their idea is somewhat working. Eventually, with the info, with vertical, flush the players out into the remaining cutoff players on the windows. It was really well executed there that time around from Fury. Not only that, but I think keeping better tabs on the roamers this time around. Both the roamers on the ground floor were taken down pretty early on in the round, which compounded into a successful execute.
Yeah. 3-2 is not bad, hey?
Attackers need to
That's pretty
locate
good.
and defuse as many
Yeah.
bombs as they can.
Gotta say, Fury, yeah, good roam clear. Really, I just want to keep crediting Critchay. Like, I know he's got 7 kills. He's easy to just put on a pedestal, but man really knows how to be self-sufficient and help his team at the same time. Like, you just chuck on that logic bomb and then walk around and use the sound cue. So he got a really free kill last time. And yeah, it goes to show that that really cool idea of an attack, it does end up working as long as you don't get flanked and dominated by those roamers.
I mean, that was awesome. He literally rounded the corner to a guy on his phone and took him down with SMG-12 from across the room. That was
That
cool.
is a Dokabee's dream
That
right
was
there.
cool.
5
Yeah, that
seconds
was
remaining.
awesome from Critchay. I mean, he's had a pretty stellar performance since the beginning of this year, going through the SI, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon, especially with this opening game going into stage 1 of 2024.
So Mandy, I've done some research, and
me
I have
your
a
findings.
proposition. All right, so I had a feel. I remember from casting GELIDA last year that we actually weren't saying GELIDA. And now I've looked it up, and the word actually it's like a Spanish town or
Is
something
that what
like
you've
that.
been doing this entire time? I feel like
I've
you've
been casting
perfectly
as well.
quiet.
I've been casting as well. Like Hollis found a kill. Yeah. See, I'm still casting.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's GELIDA, like genre.
GELIDA.
So the j sound is like genre, so GELIDA. Not
Ah.
GELIDA, GELIDA.
Ah, I see.
Whether that's easier or harder, I don't know. Have fun with that.
I have not done any research myself, so I can only concur with your findings and
I'm
agree.
a big fan of linguistics. I had to look up the International Phonetic Alphabet, no joke.
That's good work from you. Excellent work from you. So poor Sapper down here has been tracked by the Deimos on the pulse, and he's thought the better of it and is going to fall up to a safe position down in the ground floor. Meanwhile, though, these remaining two or three players within the bomb site are about to feel a little bit of pain as the execute is about to roll on through in the next few seconds, I would believe, as they are trying to entrench the bomb site. Critchay trying to go for his 1-to-1 against Mark, doesn't win that one out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid pick there for Mark, but he is essentially trapped now in Attic. He's just decided to go prone. He's low HP. All right, Lycolis, turn it up. Big kill. And he uses that Vendetta perfectly. Mark's actually found a second and dropped back to safety onto the site in meeting. BG Man, oh, he had the read for a moment there. IDFC gets lucky on the timing. He's not exposed to that bottom white stairs window. Meanwhile, Mark's actually decided to go back up the stairs and is now flanking again. IDFC caught in a real pickle. And here comes Lycolis once again. Who gets taken down by IDFC? The death mark does not work in his favor. 2v3 for Fury, and GELIDA have a really solid chance now to win the half outright.
Big round for Mark as well, all the way over in pit, through attic, finding his 2 kills and getting away with his life. Has put GELIDA, that's what we're saying now, in the man advantage. Fury now trying to find an in onto this bomb site through the vertical, but all the players have vacated to the rooms adjacent to creep down the white stairs, try and look for a pick and try and find their way in.
Oh no, right around the corner. Check your corners, mate! Zappa! That is damn stylish if I've ever seen it. Dark can trade, but a 1v2 is not going to be easy. Now Mark's low HP, but Dark is even lower on time. He has the diffuser in hand, but there's no chance he's going to be able to stick this. He may as well just get off it because Mark is about to punch him in the face. Doesn't matter because he gets off anyway, saves the KD, but he doesn't save the half. GELIDA take it 4-2.
Ooh, exciting stuff between these two teams. We want to see GELIDA ahead because this could be their revenge arc beginning. That being said, they are about to switch over onto the attack, and as we found through the past few games this week, attacking is rather difficult at the moment in Rainbow Six, especially on a map like Oregon.
Yeah, you never really know if it's going to end up being quite a defensive favored game. What was exciting in OST this week, I felt, Mandy, that yeah, we did have some games that were defender-sided, but we also had some that were really strong on the attack. We were lucky we got to see a couple of chalets. I think it was the Bliss versus Antic game. There were some really solid attacks, if I remember correctly. Yeah, obviously different story on Oregon. There's a lot that you can try, as we've seen from Fury, and I would say a lot of innovation. Fury aren't just going for bog standard old school attacks. We're not seeing just blue rushes or slow map controls into a 3-4-way pinch like we used to see last year. We're actually seeing some exciting stuff attempted with the
Attackers have located a bomb.
Buck vertical style.
10 seconds remaining.
But yeah, obviously 2 rounds. It's serviceable, not ideal.
5 seconds
And
left.
GELIDA pretty well set, assuming they can start their momentum off well here in the second half.
I think that's what happens when you've got some of the operators like Dokkaebi, like Deimos being left, and the Dokkaebi especially, which Mr. Punch is also going to bring on his side of the attack as well. I feel like very much expedites the roam clear. And on a map like Oregon, where you kind of have a lot of things that you need to do right to make and execute work, you at least want to power through some of that early to mid-game quickly, and Dokkaebi certainly helps to expedite that process.
Very much so. Both teams are running 2 roam clearing operators all the time. For Fury, it was always the Deimos and the Doke, and now for GELIDA, it's the Doke and the Lion. So
It sounds so fancy when you say GELIDA.
I know. I'm not saying GELIDA. I'm really trying to make sure it's a GELIDA. I feel like I am French or something, which is funny because it's a Spanish word, but whatever.
All right,
Mark is able to find one, at
Yeah.
least. And
I
guess
was
who?
gonna
It's
say-
Cringe. He's the one you want to kill.
I was going to say, and on the roam clear as well, we just spent the entire early game prefacing that their roam clear game, oh my goodness, should be pretty good with the operator lineup that they've got going. They've run 2 of them, and they actually capitalized off the back of that with Critch as well.
Yep, he's the guy you want to take down, no doubt about it. Fury 4v5 is still achievable on this basement bomb site, but up to GELIDA to make sure that they do their due diligence, pick a solid execute, and use this numbers advantage to their advantage, because otherwise things could go south real quick. There's a lot of util to clear, bulletproof cameras, Vulcan canisters, mirror windows as well. Fortunately, plenty of util on the attacking side to achieve that. We'll just have to get it done.
It does look like GELIDA are posturing up now for a backside take onto the bomb site. Mr. Punch getting ready to make his way on through bunker at the same time. We've got a hatch drop, we've got players coming down the rear stairs as well. That being said, it does actually look like a little bit of a split execute. It seems like a 3-2 split going into this bomb site, and I think with the numbers advantage that they've got, they can probably afford the players to be able to do so. There goes UCH to claim the first one.
There is a good trade though from Lycolis. Now Dark's been taken very low. The Vulcan canister will keep him alive for a bit longer and prevent a push in from the attacking side. Meanwhile, Fury put their attention on this rear push that GELIDA are attempting to make work. I9 spots a player for a brief moment, but Mark is actually looking to force down this plant. A flash might be able to secure it, but in amidst the chaos, Fury, all 3 players win their ones. And GELIDA fall apart at the dying moments. Almost a plant, but not to be.
Oh my god, you blink it and you miss it in that execute, don't you? Any second through that execute, the plant is going down, the flash came through, and then boom, the round is over for Fury. They're able to claim the gunfights that they needed come push to shove in the execute there, even though GELIDA had the numbers advantage going down into the basement. Ultimately not actually being able to play off the back of that and actually play into the trade game once they went down for it. Playing the objective instead, arguably, it might not be a mistake, just a situational moment, but really, ultimately Fury landed some pretty sharp shots.
Yeah. I'm pretty surprised that there was the ability there for the plant to be denied by I9, because we saw I9 was in freezer, right?
Yeah.
And Mark was the one planting, and he was the one to kill Mark. So, I don't know, you think usually the place that you plant to try and be safe from freezer is immediately in the side door and slightly to the right, and you are more exposed to like the behind the bomb angles, but you're safer from freezer. So I don't know whether the plant position was perhaps slightly different to what I had anticipated, or whether I9 really had to swing that. But regardless, all three players from Fury sprung into action at the same time. It worked out. And yeah, GELIDA still have their advantage, but it's slipping away quickly, as it always can on Oregon attack.
Well, you know what we say. If you want to win Oregon, you gotta be winning your basement. So now we're up in Kid Storms for Fury. Hopefully, a little more tested this time around on their defense. GELIDA making their way in through the ground floor so far. Once again, running the same double roam clear lineup with Dokkaebi and the Lion. Try and flush out any loose roamers here on the ground floor. I think there is only one for Fury if they want to make this effort work.
I9's doing his best Mr. Punch impression. So a 3K from Mr. Punch playing Solus on this bomb site, roaming down below prior. Drones do continue to come through, and IDFC on the buck, looking to imitate something we saw from Fury on their own attack. Perhaps not the exact same, no Deimos for example. Usually run the ACOG on the buck, so it's going to be tough in these close scenarios, but he always has a skeleton key to bring out. Crit J comes to support, 2 roamers now, but the pressure continues to mount from GELIDA as well. Mr. Punch moving in through the hallway, he's just got timed again. What is the play? How is GELIDA actually going to push it and take this ground?
No matter how to go out, it does make me think that maybe they don't actually want to creep through the entire ground floor. Maybe they're just trying to pull reaction here from the roamers down to the ground floor. Meanwhile, the pressure's going out on the bomb site. At some point, surely these roamers have got to make the move, and I feel like that's the theory going on behind it. Even if they try and come up through the lobby stairs, there's the Dokkaebi there of Sapper to cut that off as well, and he's actually made his way on all the way in through lobby and just missed the player coming around from Z.
But BG Man does find his kill as a very late rotation from GELIDA leads them directly into Fury's waiting arms, but I think BG Man might have been a little bit baited. GELIDA are not sure what they're going for. They're now rotating over to Master. Still some players at big window as the E1D goes out. DCH looks to make his way forward, but Crit J's found his kill and is not yet traded. Running around a muck and classroom. It's not looking great for GELIDA. Fury have got 2 players in advantage. The fire from the Tachanka is locking them out of taking advantage of the space that they've now gained. I don't know what GELIDA are meant to do here.
I don't think they can do much here, Deb. I think this should surely be a Fury round as Mark is trying to make a last-ditch effort to make this work for GELIDA, but with 20 seconds left to go, the crossfire is very much established now on the side of the defense. This should be a round for Fury.
BG Man's got a solid position as well. The wall behind him still solid. He wins his one. Is there a trade? There is. And Mr. Punch goes in. It's him against 3. And it's not going to be easy with such a small magazine, especially not when I9's coming for the biggest flank we've seen all day. And a great shot secures Fury another round. And with that, they've tied the scoreline.
Solid round there for Fury, especially on the roam game, not getting overzealous on their rotations down in the ground floor. I felt was very much the right decision to make against what GELIDA were trying to do. It felt like they were sitting there on the ground floor, waiting for a long time, trying to pull a reaction from those 2 roamers down on the ground floor. But then the patience of Fury very much paid dividends towards the end. They're finding the right timing on these GELIDA players as they tried to switch their focus in towards the bomb site. They found the right timings on the flanks, and then from there on, they just had the numbers advantage they needed from the late round.
Sorry, I was kind of flashbanged by audio there, but really loud replay. I was like, I'm just going to let this speak for himself. I actually really enjoyed the Tachanka last round, Mandy. I'm a sucker for funny ops, and Fury have really been delivering. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of nuance in it, so it's hard to exactly like describe during the round the impact, but it just looked like the Tachanka was just firing up the whole site as soon as Fury were thinking, yeah, maybe GELIDA's going to look for some kind of execute here. And yeah, I really like that. It really did send GELIDA packing. They were very confused making late rotations.
Right, so here we go for GELIDA. Looking for a way to bring this advantage back for them. Previously holding 4-2 up and now not having one around for their attack just yet. This is the tertiary bomb site now though, so if there's any opportunity to win out an attack, it would surely be this one.
Very true, and this is where Fury won their first attack in the first half. On that tertiary site. It was about that tertiary site. It starts with a solid roam clear, that's how it started for Fury. Though could be once again in play. I'm very curious to see what this Brava's going to be able to achieve, because there is actually a solid amount of util that can be packed. I'm thinking maybe the Malusi Banshees are okay. Very early we have an exchange, a trade back and forth. The Malusi is able to get that trade back, and Critche, yeah, big play to lose, I guess, but he's been quiet for a few rounds now, and now he can just flip cameras. Great cam in sight though from Sapper on the attack. Perhaps an opportunity to put that pressure onto this side player.
Oh, but once again, they can't jump the gun. Here's I9 down in the basement looking for a flank and is able to claim one onto Sapper, completely unknowing where he is. Here's Lycolis inside of meeting all on his own. He has a feeling that there might be a player inside of meeting, and in fact there is. DCH and Mr. Punch have somehow cracked their way into the bomb site.
Yeah, but I9's got the vert. It's actually not going to be easy. Here we go. Patience is a virtue for Mr. Punch, who finishes off like Colas, and that does flip the switch. The man advantage now in the attacks favor GELIDA have once again pivoted, but look at this! Oh, I9! Plant denied, but he is traded back. As he hits his 10th kill, he puts it over to BG Man, hands him the baton and says, you've got a 1v2 now. Mark forcing that diffuser down, Mr. Punch to support, and now it is a proper 1v2 retake for BG Man. A fantastic gun in the MP5 with the ACOG to support. But against two players playing a solid cross, this is not going to be easy, and a very off angle is currently being held. He's not going to check it. He gets wallbanged for a spell, and I don't see this working. The drone spots his position. He's got some form of audio call, but this is once again a crossfire that he will not be able to deal. Mark goes down, 1v1, BG Man shut down by Mr. Punch. GELIDA get their first attack and the lead once again in their favor.
Oh my god, that was a bit close there for BG Man. Really nice headshot in what seems like a very tough situation there on the retake, and almost landing the final one as well, but the super shorty is too good for GELIDA, and the one attack that we were hoping they would be able to get onto the tertiary site, they do in fact claim.
Yeah, a very tense end round. That was back and forth, Mandy. So many, I mean, defined by the very start of the round where we just saw a direct trade, you know, one player killed for GELIDA, and then immediately Fury gets one back. GELIDA had a nice attempt at a play on site, and then I9's there, and then that ends up, you know, falling on its head, and somehow GELIDA gets side control. A real roller coaster of a round, as this game has just continued to be neck and neck, as that round was as well. But it's not going to be easy for GELIDA to actually convert that into match point now, because basement is, of course, available for Fury.
This is going to be a pretty one to attack. I just want to compound off the back of that last point that you were talking about, Deb, as well. That round very much felt like quite characteristic of what we've seen between these two teams so far. What I enjoy about this region so much, and especially between these two teams, is that it feels like they're just so unafraid to throw their bodies at problems, but in like a calculated way, right? When they know that they need to be there and they need to be in that fight, they won't be afraid to go and take it and actually jump their way on into the fight and absolutely run for it. And it makes for this really exciting dynamic between these teams.
Yeah, well, when you've got a classic matchup like we have here, Fury versus GELIDA, once upon a time we would have called it Fury versus Elevate back in Elevate's prime. yeah, you expect a solid match, and it's a testament as well to how far GELIDA have come from last year, where they got decimated every time they played Fury in 2 BO3s where they didn't even win a map pick. And now here we are, where they are leading by 1 round, but perhaps not for long. They will have to back it up with a very solid basement defense, which is now starting with the roam clear. They're going up against a full anchor setup.
4 players on drones as well, so it does make me think that they've at least got an inkling that the map is free real estate now. The vertical surely confirmed that as well from IDFC. 5 players on the bomb site now for Fury, to a bit of a lull in the attack for GELIDA as they just set themselves up for the mid round.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
What are the conditions this round? I say meme aside, like what are the key points? Because it's not easy to crack into this bomb site with the setup like this.
That's a good question, especially with the line they've got as well. Well, I mean, okay, so as it stands, once they hit into the bomb site, well, first of all, they've got to get this hatch open. There's 2 barrel on the other side. That's what BG Man's working on at the moment, in tandem with Sapper and DCH, to try and play this mini game, getting the hatch open. Then after that, I think it's about trying really hard to consolidate the utility in the right place at the right time. I feel like if the right flashbangs land, there's no Warden on the other side of this. If the entry is pretty successful after that, there's an opportunity I think, for GELIDA to land this attack, but nevertheless, it's still pretty difficult. The power positions in itself are inherently quite strong on this basement bomb site, and even then, getting this hatch open has already proved quite challenging for GELIDA. The time is ticking away. The last set, well, 1 set of Havana charges has just been electrified as well, so if they want to sink even more time into getting this open, maybe it's not the right call to make here. It looks like they're going to pivot and go for a front attack instead.
I think there's no choice at this point, right? Like, one of the key win conditions in that hatch, as you said, has been taken out, and here we go, Fury firing up. Sapper and Mr. Punch both go down, and it just goes from bad to worse. Is it going to be flawless? It seems so. Yeah, that is basement of Oregon for you. Absolutely untouchable. Fury, textbook stuff, patience to a virtue, playing the trick game on the hatch, and then holding out in the dire moments. We are back up 5-5. We're hitting breakpoint. Next player to lose a round will forfeit their chance of winning all 3 points out of this playday and find match point for their opposition.
Yeah, I mean, I think you called that one right from the beginning, Dev. We went down to the basement and you were like, well, Fury round, and it happens pretty handily when it came down to the execute as well. I think, you know, even if you've got the right set of utility going down into the basement, it's still pretty hard to switch that utility into the positions that the defenders are in, just because they're just such like tight spaces that are so well protected, especially that position like right by the chassis that the shotgun SMG-11 was in the last couple of seconds. There wasn't a lot of time left for them to actually be able to dislodge the anchors by the time that they went for the execute. And it's always going to be really hard when you go down into the basement. That's why we're going to instead turn our attention back towards this top floor bomb site to see whether GELIDA can close it out.
Yeah, I don't know what you're feeling, maybe. Coming into this game, my head said one thing and my heart said another, right? Like, I love Fury, I love GELIDA, I love both these teams, all these players, like, respect your OGs, yada yada. My head said Fury because, like, they've won every single time for the last year. These 2 teams have played. But my heart said, I just want to see Sapper and the boys do well again. I want to see, I want to see the return of that 2021, 2022 form where these guys were, you know, at 6 Invitationals and taking big names on the global stage. And to do that, you have to start by coming over your bogeymen in your own region, and that's what Fury is for GELIDA.
I think despite the nostalgia attached to this roster, it is still a very tough matchup against Fury. You're completely right. By all means, Fury should be winning this one out, because historically they have done so 6 times in a row, is what you pointed out, against GELIDA. But you just have to hold on to that hope, right? We're casters, we're allowed to do that. There goes Crit J onto Mr. Punch. Mr. Punch had absolutely no idea what he was rappelling down into. IDFC could be in a bit of danger as well inside of Armory in a moment. There's a player on the other side of that trophy door, and not only that, but IDFC, Crit J down below does have a C4 in hand, so if he can sneak his way back into lobby, back into garage, he can land something from below.
Looks like GELIDA are a little bit lost now after losing that opening pick. Oh, DCH has got to find this kill. Surely that nade will push out
Great
BG
nade.
Man into his position. Yeah, funnily enough, the Wamai's disc caught the nade and forced BG Man to move regardless. So that's actually a really solid start here for GELIDA. They might have lost the initial pick, but I don't think they can be too upset with this.
Bomb located by
Right, so
attackers.
Pritch A has decided to retreat all the way down into the basement. That outline scared me in case he was going to go for that C4 onto lobby, but instead he thinks better of it and decides to keep his life for the upcoming execute. The late rounds now for GELIDA.
Can't hide or beset.
Numbers evened out now with that pick going out onto Closet, but even from
Attackers
here on
drop
out, they
the
still need to
diffuser.
consolidate and figure out what they're going to do next. Great pick as well from Sapper, doubling down on that initial entry, and a hole has certainly been made in the defense.
Oh, but Dark does get the kill back onto Sapper
Attackers
again,
have
so it's
recovered their
even.
defuse.
These ACOGs on the defense, so good for contesting the long lines of sight. IDFC, almost lands the shot as well. Lycolis shoving out the last of his area denial as the time ticks down. Who finds match point first? That's the question on our lips. GELIDA looking for an entrance, and two players have crossed. One's planting right now. How is this going to work out? IDFC down on the ground. Critchet round in the corner. It's all up to Mark in a 1v2 as he finds the first of 3 required. Breaking 10 kills
seconds left.
and needing a hell of a lot more than that, but so patient now. Fury, there's information on Dark's position. The pre-fire gets what he needs, but Mark will not have time to confirm the plan. Fury finding match points, and GELIDA missing their chance by the skin of their teeth.
Such a composed defense at the end there for Fury, even though they lost out on the player inside a closet. They just sat back, waited for GELIDA to come on in, and then very much relied upon a lot of that areas and all that zoning that came out from the Tachanka. You pointed it out earlier, and you said that you really liked it, and now I'm on that bandwagon as well. That was really good in the late game there from Lycolis to completely deny the entry coming in through Trophy, that breach, unentryable as well. He had to funnel in from pit, go for a really strange plant position, but that plant position couldn't be covered because of the fire that was going down inside of that trophy door, right? So allowed Critchet to go for the swing, deny the plant, and what was a really great aim round for Fury.
Base device.
New camera feed up and running.
But are they going to convert it, or are we going to get overtime, Mandy? That's what I'm wondering. I want to know.
I kind of want to know as well, because this is a tertiary bomb site. Last time we saw GELIDA attack this one, it was right, you know.
Yeah,
a
it's
splinter
funny,
of
really, because GELIDA actually were able to defend their tertiary bomb site in the final round of the first
10
half,
seconds
but
to go.
they lost the dorms. So, yeah, what goes around comes around.
5
Doesn't matter if
seconds left.
Fury win 1 dorms, GELIDA can go and win their tertiary bomb site, but Fury now have a chance to win the game outright, take the full 3 points home, rocket up the standings. Of course, they really want to be in one of those top 2 spots after the round robin phase, because that's where you get the free win in the single elim bracket in playoffs. But, you know, it's possible that GELIDA will be able to push us to OT here, steal some of those points from Fury, and this is really going to be quite a race for the finish line for those top spots in the standings, with teams like Bleed and Direwolves contesting. Elevate, perhaps. We haven't really seen them yet. It remains to be seen. I want to have faith in GELIDA here.
Me too. I'm keen for this. This is their opportunity to tie up the scoreboard very much on this particular bomb site. Player inside T3 with I9, looking to rip a C4 out onto any players potentially repelling in, but thinks the better of it. That was a bit brave, okay? The cross on the door, back in T1, okay? Somehow he gets away with that one as well. Dev, that's made me very nervous watching him go through those motions, but nevertheless,
He survived.
he is
He
alive,
survived.
and well, he's healthy. That's good. We like to see that. So IDFC now has made his way on through T3 with I9 having fallen off from that position, having a think about trying to open up attic, trying to clear out some of these plays in the top floor, get that hatch control and see where they can convert it from there.
This does feel very slow and steady for GELIDA. It has taken them a hell of a long time, and realistically all they've got is big tower control, right? All 5 players bunched up in the same position. I don't know, I'm not optimistic, Manny. This feels extremely slow. This seems a bit yikes. Good info denial though from Mark. That's the second Valcam we've seen taken out. And now a breach as well. If we can see GELIDA flush out I9 and the defenders from this position in meeting, perhaps a plant could be on the cards.
They've gone for a pretty linear take here, a minimal take, I'll say, not linear. going into a big tower only to try and collect themselves onto the bomb site later. And because they've gone for something pretty minimal, they have afforded themselves a bit more time to go and do it. They don't essentially need a lot of map control, but I9 has just found himself in an amazing position here, right in the corner of the stage, and will claim the first one onto Mr. Punch, but not before being traded by DCH. With 40 seconds left to go, Mark is going to try and make his move.
Yeah, the backstab is thwarted though with Dark. However, player on the site has been taken down. Oh, Dark, you've got to set up now. Lycolis is on the ground, but this leaves BG Man all on his lonesome against two players. There's just no chance that he can pick up Lycolis here. And so Sapper will start this plan. IDFC to cover. That impact reveals the position. Can he pre-fire through the smoke? It seems so unlikely. Now the plant is confirmed. And this retake becomes all but impossible. All of these attackers have fallen back. GELIDA look to be pushing us into match point. BG Man still uncertain of these positions. He has to pre-fire out everything. 26 seconds, but Mandy, I don't see this working for him.
I don't think so either. I think GELIDA have done good here on the execute, going in as soon as they'd taken down I9, as soon as Mark made his impact through the backstab. It felt like the kills are very much compounded. BG Man looking for a defuse attempt, but shut down pretty quickly by IDFC. And you called it, Dev, but GELIDA are back on the board.
Back on the board and into overtime. These guys have fought long and hard for the right to play in this league, for the right to play under an organization like GELIDA. No Cap R6 is no more. These guys are back and they look like a completely different team. They are firing up, and I'm optimistic that they can, having pushed into overtime, perhaps still another point away from the top dogs in Fury, the reigning champions. And what an achievement that would be after a whole year of having to bow before Fury as the superior team from Thailand and from the Asia region as a whole. To be able to get a win over them, I mean, it's worth so much. The Fury, on the other hand, they can't afford to be dropping points like this. They need to put this game to bed.
Wall secured!
Good opportunity here to put themselves on yet another match point down in the basement. We have yet to see a successful attack onto this bomb site, so you would think that surely this is a solid one for Fury and will give them another chance to close it out.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds insertion.
Monty repick. Double hard breach with the Maverick, so looking to bypass the Kaid and Tubarao altogether. I think that is a good pick from Sapper. GELIDA have shown to be a little bit slow sometimes dealing with these problems.
I would have to agree with that, to be honest. I think in the presence of the Tubarao and seeing their problems from before, I think this is an excellent adaptation. If they want to commit themselves to the back take, which seems like what they're posturing to do with the lineup that we've been speaking of. So roam clear now for GELIDA, but it seems like they've realized pretty early on that the top floor is completely clear. They're only sending out drones into the ground floor, just doing some light work, realizing that the real estate has been completely given up to them.
It is just full stack on site for Fury, which I know I'm actually not so optimistic about based on this lineup. I think GELIDA with the Maverick and the Monty could make things a lot more difficult on this side pressure. And it comes down to what we're seeing right now. Sapper on this hatch, opening up the meeting hatch with his Maverick torch. So he won't have to worry at all about the electrification. He just has to get enough damage into this hatch. Ooh. Does have to worry about C4s, but you can see how far he's moving away from this hatch. He's also worried about getting shot up through it, but you know, the Kaid is unimpactful. The Tubarao useless to stop him, though useful at stopping the X-Kairos on the freezer hatch.
All right, so E has been open. A minute 20 left to go as well, so they've made good time of this. And as you pointed out, the Maverick, certainly the perfect operator to counter Tubarao, especially with some of the tweaks that have come in as well. Sapper, just having a quick think here on the ground floor. What's the best point of entry now for GELIDA as they try and translate this great control that they've got down into the basement? That's always the hardest part from here on out. They've got plenty of utility to do so. In fact, 3 sets of flashbangs and smokes on Mr. Punch. So if they want to isolate off one angle with those smokes, that could be their way in.
Other time delay sync from BG Man. It's going to achieve it. Oh, here we go. That's a big stun. Mark is actually far back. Here comes the Monty down the stairs. Oh, I9 taken down. His position was known. GELIDA out of nowhere steal all the kills. Lycolis against 3. Mark on the ground. Those goo mines continue to be devilish, continue to be troublesome. Where is this Monty? The Monty needs to be the one to make the mark, but Sapper puts the final bullet in the round, and GELIDA now finally have their own match points. And by winning a laundry attack to boot, what a moment for GELIDA. Fury left flailing.
They could very much be rewarded in this series by that one launching attack that they needed to win. The single 1-1 in the entire series so far. We've seen this bomb site played so many times, but only now is GELIDA finally able to break the spell, and it might close out the game for them. Now they can go and do their own defense on the exact same bomb site, and if success proves the same way statistically, it would surely translate here as well.
Yeah, I mean, going into match point and having basement defense available, that's exactly what you want on Oregon. Can't get much better than that. But if GELIDA could do it on their attack, I wouldn't count out Fury. And they're actually bringing the Monty as well.
but are they bringing the Maverick? Oh,
yes, they are,
yes,
it
they
seems.
are. So they've seen what GELIDA have done, and they're like, oh, not a bad idea, not a bad idea. And they've gone and done it themselves now. Now, the real question from here, for me, is can BG Man do it as carefully and cautiously as Sapper did it? Last time Sapper, he was playing the Maverick real far back, being cautious about C4s, 2 C4s that got sunk up onto him, and then it eventually got opened. And they landed the flashbangs in the right way, the one that initiated that execute to happen. They need to get all of those steps right, do Fury, to tie up this scoreline once again.
It's interesting to see GELIDA going for their full site setup as well, instead of going for this big roam game that we saw from them. I think the roam actually arguably worked better, especially with the adaptation that we saw from GELIDA just last round with the Maverick. Now Fury doing the same thing. I think that pretty much counters 2 of the 5 operators on this defensive lineup.
Phone rings out for Mark, and he thinks a little better of holding on to this tower position. But I think you've pointed it out pretty well. In terms of the attacker lineup, it does quite well counter the setup going out onto the defense, but I like this from Mark, being brave about holding on to these tower stairs for just a little bit longer, delaying a little bit more time and making Fury a bit more cautious. Every second counts here on this defense. The more time that you can take away from that execute phase from the attack, the better your chances of success will be on the side of the defense, and I think Mark is doing the right thing by holding on to that aggression for just a little bit longer.
Fury still's kind of working on map control. Like, they're not really... I don't know, they're not too quick here. I think they finally have established everyone's downstairs, but you know, they were still checking little corners of these rooms and opening these hatches and such.
That's a great pickup from you as well, because if we cast our minds back to how GELIDA were able to attack this last round, they instantly picked up in the prep phase that there were no plays in the top floor. They only sent drones in through the ground floor just briefly for about 20 seconds, just to check some entrances, and that was it. They were already on their way in. 1:20 seconds left on the clock on the side of GELIDA, and they already had the hatch open. Oh, here goes!
Wow!
From Dark with the team.
Oh!
Unsuccessful. Mr. Punch is going to take him down on the other side.
That is so ambitious, so desperate, so risky, and punished perfectly by GELIDA. Fury have 1 low HP Monty and 3 guns up, without the control that they were looking for. Now Sapper, he's forfeited his spot, but he is still playing aggressively, and he's really looking to harass this Monty as the logic bomb goes out. Critche goes down. Fury are on their last legs as Sapper looks to find the Monty's legs. Oh, he gets him! He's back, ladies and gentlemen! He is back! BG Man's in a 1v5. Oh, GELIDA, what a way to get it done. To push to overtime and to keep on pushing. Sapper puts the nail in the coffin. And revenge is a dish best served hot.
And what a way to close out that game as well for GELIDA. The one laundry attack in overtime paid dividends to closing out the series. 2 points on the board, leaving an extra one away from Fury. What a way to start out the stage.
I'm really sorry about the noise, guys. It's not just me casting tonight. We've got this one as well. And she's a big GELIDA fan. So she saw that result and she thought, oh my, I can't believe after 7 tries they did it. This goes to show, new face, no longer no cap. They're on GELIDA. New face, new rebrand, new year, and they're here to make a statement. Massive credit to GELIDA. A well-deserved win.
That was a great win, honestly. It was so back and forth the entire game. It felt so hard to predict. And then the one turning point of the entire series was that one overtime win that they got. After that, it just compounded into such a successful defense. After that, Fury were unable to replicate the small details that GELIDA got right in that set attack to then go and close out the game. And yeah, well, what a fantastic way and a great adaptation, especially from Sapa. I really felt like his efforts in that game were very much felt in the final 2 rounds.
He had a lot of funny moments like this one as well. A massive game from GELIDA. Fury seemed better in regulation, but everything changed when we hit overtime. A historic win for GELIDA as they kick off their 2024 with a massive scalp. But of course, we'll break it down on the desk after this.